In this video, we're going to look at the Repeat Grid tool in XD. The Repeat Grid tool allows us to speed up our workflow when we're doing repetitive design work or repetitive layout work. As in the example that we've got here, a shop kind of design, a standard kind of grid of products. And this can be pretty labor intensive if we're building everything from scratch. The Repeat Grid is going to help us speed things up. Let's get into it and reproduce this. I'm going to need to grab myself a new document and kind of at the moment designing for I think roughly an iPad, which is 1080 by 1920 or one of the iPad sizes, maybe an iPad mini. That's probably a bit taller than an iPad, but we'll make do. Let's just fill the screen with that. Okay, so we've got our artboard in place and it is 1080 by 1920. I might make it a little shorter than that at some stage, but we'll see how we go. Let's set up our working space or our layout grid. Turn on the layout grid there, and this is the default layout. I just want to alter that slightly. I'm going to change the margins there to 44 on the left and right. Maybe we'll make it 44 at the top as well. So I've just turned on the four sides of the margin there of our layout grid. Okay, so this is good for us to get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build one tile, and we'll use the Repeat Grid tool to flesh out the rest of the page. So I'm going to zoom in top left corner and we'll start working on just that first tile. We're going to need a couple of shapes, I think. I don't know, maybe 300. So 4 columns and 4 gutters adds up to 404, which is cool. Let's give that a color, which is what am I doing actually? I only need 4 columns there, so it's 320. That actually sounds a bit better. I might make the depth of that a bit smaller. How about 270? Okay, so that's an image thumbnail, and we had a couple of other kind of graphic elements. There was a kind of a strap across the bottom that had some text about shipping information. So we'll add that in. We'll set our type, whatever we feel is works with our design. I'm using Montserrat. Center that text. Make it all caps, and I might even thicken it out a bit and reverse it off that background color. So it's looking good. Now a product title and a price underneath. I just remembered my previous typesetting, which is sometimes useful, but at other times not that useful. That's good. I'll copy that and I can just reuse that, but I'll slightly change it for the price. We'll make it a bit denser, so thicken out the font. We'll bring it up in size 26. Cool. I'm thinking that looks okay. Now a star rating. I'm going to use a triangle shape tool to make a star, which is kind of cool. Holding shift down to constrain my triangle. Let's color it. I'll get rid of the border, color it in a kind of a gold color. And give it 5 sides. Zoom up and have a look at that. Oops. And we'll change this value here. If I select a value, I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to make alterations, and that goes for any value in the properties panel. So that's a cool star. Position it up under the price there, and I'm going to use the repeat grid to build out or to mock up a few some more stars. We want a 5-star rating here, I think. So let's select the repeat grid, and you can see that our element has changed its bounding box to this green bounding box with a couple of handles up and down. And if I drag them out, you can see that it'll repeat the graphic that I've set in the repeat grid, which is great. We can really quickly make grids and adjust the padding between the grid items like so. Excellent. And now we're going to add all of our tile. We'll group it, Command G, and we'll create a repeat grid out of that first tile. So it shows us our green bounding box and our handles that designate a repeat grid. And I'm going to match you can see how you can just go into the padding and grab the padding itself and manipulate it. See the value at the top there, 16 pixels, which is equal to the gutter of my layout grid, which is great. So it'll be all nicely in line. Excellent. So 3 tiles, and if I drag it downwards, we can very quickly build out a product page like so. Looking good. And I suppose what I've got here is almost a wireframe design. I can take it a little bit further and start adding in, some other design elements. Of course, we'll need to add in some product shots here and make some adjustments to the content itself, change the product titles and the prices depending on the products. That's very easy to do. All we need to do really is go in and double click into that particular element, in this case the text, and we can change it. Depending on what the product is, and we can change the price as well just by clicking in there, which is super good. I'm going to go ahead and add some images to the design, and I've actually got on the desktop, I'll just make a little bit of space here, a set of images, set of product images that we can drop into our design. Got these from Unsplash, and I'll send you the links. I'll make the links available. So if I drag and drop an image into the repeat grid, it will repeat across that whole grid, which is good. If I'm mocking something up, I might actually need individual pictures, but there might be cases where you do actually want to have a little bit more kind of variation in the mock-up that you're producing, or the high fidelity design that you're working on. So you can drag and drop multiple images into those picture frames. If you had a whole lot of images, you could just grab the whole lot and drop them in, and it will repeat that series of images, which is really helpful. If you have some text in a text document, you can speed things up even further by dragging your text file into a text field and updating the text. And we'll do that for the product as well. And you can see that is, I'll just open that text, that is just separated by a line, and it's saved as .txt. So that'll speed things up as well. So there we have it. There's our repeat grid for some kind of iPad app using XD and using the repeat grid tool in XD to kind of really speed up our workflow and help us out with some repetitive design elements.